Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk to you guys about a kind of situation that happened. I'm sure you've had a situation where someone tells a joke that they think is hilarious, but once they say it, everybody else in the room goes completely silent. Because in the end, that joke wasn't funny. Instead, that joke was hurtful, or somehow it was really wrong. In some cases, it was politically incorrect. In some cases, it was shaming to somebody. That's the kind of joke that was put on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. And instead of realizing that that's the kind of joke that it was, the person who listed the meme on their page added to the caption. Like, they added to it. And they added, "I'm sorry if this offends somebody, but come on, this is really funny." And they capitalized funny in all big letters. And as I saw this, I just kind of sat there in silence. And I felt really disgusted. And you have to understand, this is a person that is older than me. This is a person that I respect as an elder. This is a human being who does amazing things for other people, for other creatures. This is a person who goes out of their way to be a kind and compassionate human being. Yet they posted this and they feel this way. And I was shocked at this post. I was appalled by this post, and I was stunned. And I was so disappointed in this person, that this person of all people would post it. So what was the meme? Why did it upset me so much? It was the day after Hugh Hefner had died. The joke was how someone thought that Rosie O'Donnell had died. Oh, it was their mistake. Hugh Hefner had died, not huge heifer. Get it? Because Rosie O'Donnell is overweight, they were making a fat joke. And this person thought that it was okay and funny to make fun of that and to make fun of her because they don't like her for whatever reason. Do they not like her because she's overweight? Do they not like her because they find her unattractive? Do they not like her because she is gay or bisexual or whatever her sexuality happens to be? I'm not quite sure at this moment. I mean, I know that she's been in a lot of relationships with women, but I don't know if that means that she's bi or not. I know that for a very long time it was believed that she was in relationships with men at one time, so I don't know if that was just her figuring out her sexuality or whatever. You know, I've never followed her that personally, so I don't know what her sexuality is, and I really, quite frankly, don't think that it matters. But my point is I don't know why this person does not like her. But obviously, to have felt this way about it and to find that funny, you would have to not like her on some sort of level, right? I don't find that funny. And not just because it personally is hurtful to me, because you could have exchanged that particular actress's name with me. You could have exchanged it with other people with whom I love. You could exchange it with people that I'm friends with. You could exchange it with a multitude of people. And it doesn't have to be just a weight thing. It could be, you could change that to be, something else. It could be, not a weight thing. It could be a height thing to people who are sensitive towards height. It could be anything else. If it were your particular group being targeted in such a way, you would be really, really upset and hurt and hurtful. And if it were an animal cruelty meme that somebody was making fun of, I think this person would be really upset, and she would be calling for it being taken down, and she would think that it was a complete and total injustice. But because it's not her group, it's funny. And doesn't everybody think it's funny? And this is the thing, we're perpetuating cruelty of a different kind. And people think that words don't hurt and words don't have an effect. And I'm sorry, but mental health is just as important as physical health. And we're finding that more and more because more and more people are breaking down. And we are at a point in society where we have to stop and take a look at mental health and mental health issues. And we have to take responsibility for what we say. And you know what? There is a point where people have to say, hey, you know what? You can't be sensitive to everything that everybody says. And sometimes when somebody says something that you disagree with or you do not like, you have to put on your big girl or big boy panties and you have to deal with it. And sometimes people are going to hurt you and you have to be able to cope with that. At the same time, when you say something wrong or bad or hurtful, you also have a responsibility to acknowledge that and learn and grow from it. Both sides have a responsibility. The person who's receiving it and the person who's doling it out. The person who doles it out doesn't get a free pass. It's not okay to be a bully. It's not okay to treat someone horribly. No matter what your age is, even if you're an older person. And I'm quite frankly a little bit upset with myself because I saw this happening. I saw that this was wrong and I was upset and I was ashamed and I was embarrassed and I was disappointed in this person and I said nothing. I said nothing. It has been weeks and I said nothing. I was silently upset about it. I wrote it down on my list of things that I wanted to talk about on this channel. I waited until now to put it up on my channel and to record this video, but that person is probably never going to see this video. I never called that person out. I never said anything. I never did anything to let that person know that that was wrong. And by being silent, not only is that person never going to realize that wasn't okay and why that wasn't okay, I didn't speak up for the group of people that hurts. Silence is just as bad as the bullying itself because you're allowing the cycle of behavior to continue. And a lot of people don't realize that either. They say, well, at least I wasn't participating. Participating. Laughing. Silence. Just as bad. No progress is being made. No correction is being made. No education is happening. No change for the better is happening. It's not getting worse, granted, but nothing's getting better. Nothing's happening. We all have a responsibility to each other to help one another move forward in a positive manner. So my hope with this video, and the reason that I wanted to share this with you, is because this is something that happens online all the time. And I think that, you know, online, people get a free pass to be jerks. And people just say, oh, well, it's online. I've been hearing that for over 20 years because I've been online for over 20 years. I am one of the people who, you know, essentially grew up online. I've been online since I was 10 years old. 10 years old, pretty much. I've been online. I've been in online chat rooms. I've been on message boards. I've been on, you know, social media since social media has become a thing. And I've just heard the excuse, you know, boys will be boys online, internet trolls will be internet trolls, this is what's acceptable online, this is what's not acceptable online. Things are only acceptable if we allow them to be acceptable. You have the responsibility to be a human being no matter where you are. And if it is not acceptable in real life or outside your door, or inside your home, why should it be acceptable somewhere else where you're dealing with other human beings? Who is on the other side of that screen? Because right now you're looking at me on a video. But guess what? I'm in front of a camera. I'm a real person. Hi, if you pinch me, I'm a person. I'm a person. Hi. I'm speaking to you on a screen though. You're watching me online. But when I type something, I'm still a person. You're still a person watching this, and I acknowledge that. I'm speaking to you. We're human beings. You have to remember that the person that you're talking to is a human being. And the second that you forget that is where the problems come in, where the bad behavior happens. And if we consistently condone the bad behavior is just consistently going to continue to happen. And we can't allow it to happen. And I know that this sounds so preachy, and I don't want this to become a preachy channel. And it's not going to be. It's going to be a fun, happy place. But I just feel like this particular thing needed to be talked about and needed to be shared because, you know, this really disappointed me. And this was from somebody who is definitely old enough to know better. I'm old enough to know better. I mean, like, a lot of people aren't really quite sure how old I am and are a little stunned when they find out like how old I actually am. But my point is like, we're all old enough to know better. I think kind of if you're over the age of 12, even then, you kind of know better, you know? We're not little kids. Let's be cool, you know? And I think you'll come to find if you act nicer to each other, you'll find that things go a lot better for you. You will have a nicer time. You'll have more fun with people. People will be nicer to you, and things will go a lot easier for you in your life. And maybe better things will come to you. You know, that whole karma aspect thing. When you're really positive and you send out really good stuff tends to happen to you. Just a suggestion, just a thought. But you do not have to take my word for it. You do not have to listen to me. You do not have to watch this video. It is all completely 100% up to you. I'm not, you know, I'm not telling you what to do. This was just a video of me commenting on something that actually happened in my life that I thought, you know, maybe I could do a little good, put a little good out there, and see what happens. But I want to know what you think. What do you think of this situation? Have you been in a situation like this? What are your thoughts and opinions? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? My only ask from you is that whether you agree, disagree, have something to add, be kind, be respectful. If there's anything, hate speech, completely inappropriate, tons of things that'll like break TOS, excuse me, anything just completely horrific, it's gonna be gone from the comments. It's just not cool and not the kind of vibe and environment and community base that we're gonna have here on the channel. But if you're going to be constructive and allow us to have a conversation, you can totally disagree with me down below and just tell me, why do you disagree? Why do you think your opinion? And we can totally have a discussion about it. You do not have to agree with me here. That is the number one thing I want you guys to know here. Feel free to comment. Feel free to disagree with me. Feel free to tell me, I think you're wrong. I think what you think is completely ignorant. I think it's ignorant because of this. I want to hear that. I need to hear that, because you know what? Maybe I am being really narrow-minded. Maybe I need you to help me see a different perspective that I'm not seeing. But you don't have to tell me that in a really mean, hurtful way. You can tell me that in a way that is kind and respectful and doesn't insult either of us. You know, we can be different and feel differently and not hurt one another and be jerks. So as long as you can be mature and speak your point of view in a kind, compassionate way, we can totally get along. And there is no reason not to get along. And that's kind of the point of this video. There's no reason to be malicious and hurtful to people for the sake of being funny. Because people can be funny and have a good time and be delightful without any of that nonsense going on. Well, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content that I'm providing on this channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. So when I post a new video, you're aware. Click the little bell, because if you don't, even if you're subscribed, you might not get that notification. I know that I've had a lot of problems, even when I do click that bell, getting notifications lately. So YouTube has been going through some really, really funky problems lately, and I just want to make sure that you're able to know when my videos are coming out so that you can see them and enjoy them, because I am working kind of hard on figuring out some really cool content for you guys and doing some different things and sharing some different things and just growing this little by little and just kind of seeing what we can do. I'm sorry about the light. That's all natural light, by the way. This window is like insane. But yeah, I just wanted to share something with you and then get your perspective on it if you guys want to share. And if not, then there's no comments on this video. That's cool too. Alright, thank you so much for coming, and I will see you next time. Bye!